Welcome to this lesson on order of operations. Order of operations have been around since the 1500s, and they're important as we work through these math problems. It's kind of like if you're texting, you're not going to hit the send button before you write your message or before you add your contact. Or if you're baking, if you do it in the wrong order, it's not going to come out the way that you want it to. So math is the same way. We have P for parentheses, and then we have E for exponents, then we have multiplication and division, and addition and subtraction. A lot of people remember this as, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And this is just, it's a mnemonic to remember the order. And so we're going to take a look a little bit more specifically at PEMDAS and what it is and how it applies. So let's start by talking about the P in PEMDAS. It actually is standing for parentheses, and this includes brackets, and it also includes braces. Next is exponent, and that includes, so if you had a number that's to an exponent, and it also includes roots. So it could be cubed roots, fourth roots, fifth roots, so on and so forth. And then we have the M stands for multiplication. The D is division. And these are, as we remember, inverse operations of each other. So these are the same level. And so we move from left to right as we work through these. So I'm going to say move from left to right. And similarly, we have the A standing for addition, and the S standing for subtraction. Again, addition and subtraction are inverse operations of each other, so we are going to move from left to right. And that'll make more sense when we take a look at a few examples. Alright, so let's take a look at our first example here. We'll take a look at a few of them today, and just so we can see a few different situations and how we can apply PEMDAS to each one of them. So let's start out with this one that says 5 squared minus 2 times the quantity 2 plus 7. So I'm going to write out my PEMDAS over here. I'm going to put little arrows to remind myself that I need to, with each one of these, move from left to right. So let's go ahead and get started. We look and we say, okay, let's look at our parentheses first. So we see that we have 2 plus 7, which is 9. So we're going to add those together and then drop everything else down. Okay, so now that we're done with our parentheses, we're going to move on to exponents. Exponents here, we have 5 squared, which is 25. I'm going to drop everything else down. Now we're done with exponents. Let's move to multiplication and division. Since we actually don't have any division, let's take a look at the multiplication part, which is 2 times 9, which is 18. Again, drop everything else down, and then finally, we need to look at addition, subtraction. There's no addition, so we do our subtraction. 25 minus 18 is 7. And so it's important that we are consistent with how we move through these problems, because if we do it in a different order, we will actually get a different answer. Alright, let's take a look at another example now. We'll step up the difficulty just a little bit. We have 8 plus 5 times the quantity 3 plus 1 divided by 10 minus 2 cubed. I'm going to get in the habit of writing this off to the side just so I remember what my order of operations are. I'm going to put in these arrows again. Okay, so let's start with our parentheses. We see that we have 3 plus 1, which is 4. Drop everything else down. And what you'll notice is you'll get a nice triangular motion down as we start to simplify this down further. Okay, now let's take a look at exponents. Here's our exponent, which is 2 to the third power, which is 8. And drop everything else down. Okay, now we're going to do multiplication and division. I look here and I see multiplication and division, so I need to do the multiplication first because we're moving from left to right. And so I say 5 times 4 is 20. So now we'll drop everything else down. And now I do my division. 20 divided by 10 is 2. Again, we drop it all down. 8 plus 2 is 10. As I move on to my addition and subtraction, again, I'm moving from left to right, and in this case, addition is first. So I just do that first. And then 10 minus 8 is 2. Again, you see this nice triangular motion going down, and it's nice and organized, and you can see what's happening between each step. Let's take a look at our final example, example 3. And it says 3 squared plus 15, or in brackets, the quantity 15 divided by negative 3. So notice how there's parentheses within our brackets. All divided by 16. So let's write out PEMDAS over here. Put our arrows. We're going to start out with our parentheses. And remember, brackets are a part of this parenthesis set, I guess you could say. So let's look inside here. We use this order of operations again in here. It's almost like a sub problem within the bigger problem of order of operations. So we look in here and we say, okay, there's no parentheses, there's no exponents, there's no multiplication, but there's division. And so we say, okay, 15 divided by negative 3 is a negative 5. We're going to keep that in those brackets, drop everything else down. And then we're going to go back to the numerator, and we're going to say, okay, we don't have any parentheses anymore. We have exponents, 3 squared, which is 9, and keep everything else in the problem. And then we have 9 plus 5 plus a negative 5, that is. And so we're actually going to be subtracting. So 9 plus a negative 5 is 4 divided by 16, and then we reduce that down to 1/4. Now some of you might be asking, why didn't I divide, since this division bar means to divide? When you have a big division bar, you can split up your numerator and your denominator, do them as separate problems, and then come to the end, kind of combine them back together, and then reduce it down to its simplest form. So I hope that these examples helped. If you have further questions, you can look at the resources that I have posted down below. I'd like you to work on the practice sets that are from Khan Academy. I also have those posted below here.